Chapter 4 Voodoo Vanishings and Nightmare Realities. From the Masquerade of Time, A Love Undying, by Cy Marie Johnson. I rolled to the left, reaching my arm out to gradually draw across the mattress top. The humidity of the night had caused a sheen of perspiration to line my chest, and still I felt a chill of need rush through me. I wanted her warmth next to mine, and as my fingers drew across the sheets, my eyes widened as I kept reaching, only to find no one beside me. I sat up instantly, my pulse rising as I peered around the dark room. I sniffed the air, glancing toward the mattress and shaking my head in disbelief. "Celine?" I murmured, reaching to turn on the bedside lamp as I narrowed my eyes. I squinted slightly, noticing a poster of Jimi Hendrix plastered up beside a newer artist, Jelly Roll, and recognized my room immediately. I lifted my hand and scrubbed my palm against my face, up and down in a continual pattern, and shook my head before attempting to widen my eyes with the hope of it all vanishing. When I looked up again, the posters were still there. "The fuck is happening?" I asked, throwing the blankets off my legs and walking toward the hall. Like usual, I woke needing to pee, and I scoffed at myself. It just didn't make any sense. I peered at the grandfather clock on the wall adjacent to the bathroom and shook my head again. It clearly read the same time and date of the week I had been scheduled for the hotelier convention. The calendar on the wall beside it had last been marked off for the day of the convention, and I knew immediately it was the next day. Had it all been nothing but a dream? I dragged myself into the bathroom, feeling exhausted and like I spent the night doing something, well, nefarious. Strangely, this brought a bemused chuckle free of me, and I shook my head as I leaned over the bathroom sink. I was on the lighter side of tan, but my cafe au lait complexion made my chin-length dreads stand out, and that was how I managed to notice that something was awry. I drew my hand through my hair and noted half a dread had been cut from my head, and just beneath my ear on the same side of my throat was a large purplish hickey. The memories of this erotic and passionate kisses Celine and I shared immediately flooded my mind, and I knew it had all been real. Worse, however, was the knowledge that someone had taken a lock of my hair, and what the implications of such an action might mean. And in that moment, I shivered as I felt my blood run cold. "Conjurer," I muttered, disbelief lining my tone. Could Celine have brought me to her time for the purpose of murdering Luc Pierre? Was she as innocent as I first perceived, or had it all been some elaborate lie? I shook off those intrusive thoughts, determined not to believe such a terrible thing about the beauty who had stolen my heart in a mere glance. Her angelic voice suddenly flickered through my mind, and I felt an urgency to do something I had never done before: conjure for myself. I moved from the bathroom back to my room and began fumbling around for the things I knew: 7 dimes, 7 pieces of silver. Of the few things I gave out to guests at the chateau, I included a brochure containing the offerings best suited to the voodoo queen of New Orleans herself, the lady of the necropolis, our cities of the dead, Marie Laveau Glapion. "Where's the pamphlet?" I groaned aloud, rushing to my desk and finding a stack of them just where I'd left them. I flipped it open and began reading. Marie's favorite colors are blue, white, and pink. A figurine, picture, or statue of her is a central part of her altar building. Reading the words, I glanced at the front of the pamphlet and noticed the picture on it. "You'll work perfectly for that," I remarked, folding the brochure over and tearing the picture out carefully. I sat it on the desk leaning against the wall and grabbed 2 candles out of a drawer, placing one on either side of the picture. I waited to light them, though, glancing back at the list. Candy, rum, and incense or oils, and a bowl. A glass of water to balance out the libations. Leaving hair accessories and products is also ideal due to her work as a hairdresser in life. In addition, snakes and dogs held great meaning to Marie, and she was inclined to Creole foods and fruits. I had a few hair accessories that matched the color scheme and ran to the bathroom to collect them, considering every other item I had in my house that would work for Marie's shrine. I didn't know what it was, but something had lit a fire under my ass, and hers was the name I felt compelled to seek out. Had Celine been right about my ability? Had it been me who catapulted myself from 2023 back to 1840s without realizing it? The idea was preposterous, and yet, somehow, here I was about to seek out a woman who had been dead for over 140 years. Happy with what I collected, I proceeded to light the votives. Okay, Madame Marie Laveau, I beseech you to help me. Why is my hair gone, and where is Celine? I muttered, my tone low at first, the disbelief in my voice apparent to my own ears. I was skeptical if this would even work, and what else did I have to go off? Checking into the local mental ward wasn't exactly on my bucket list. Possibly the fuck it one, though. I closed my eyes and inhaled deeply. I needed to get serious and quick. With a slow exhalation, I murmured, Please, Madame Marie, I have never asked for anything else. I opened my eyes and glanced down at the portrait of the Voodoo Queen and watched as the flickering of candles caressed the image with a softened, beckoning flow, igniting Marie's eyes in a light orange hue, and suddenly the very irises seemed to brighten, a ribbony stream of light emitting from the portrait and inching forth to produce a milky mist which soon began to take the form of a beautiful buxom Creole woman with a signature turban atop her head. Oh, chérie, tu inquietes beaucoup, came a low and eerie voice. Assuredly female, the confident sound in it gave me no doubt it was Marie Laveau herself. I will aid you, son of Audrine Claudette Dumont. Do you know why? She asked, her head tilting ever so as those same glowing eyes held my complete beguilement. What? I trailed my words, unable to formulate my sentence, and this seemed to frustrate the Loa immediately. Now, don't act as if you never dealt with the dead. We are in the Crescent City, mon cher. Apologies, Madame Voodoo Queen. No, I do not know, I muttered, clearing my throat as I dared to complete my fragmented speech. Why? Because the guardian of the crossroads chose you, Antoine Dumont. Because yours is the lineage of power and possibility. The test of fate has opened its palm to you. The guardian of the crossroads? That's Papa Legba. Yes, and Ogun answered you because you have been chosen, Antoine. Will you rise to the call of your ancestors now? Marie asked, her arms held firmly crossed before her, posture erected with poise and regality. I truly felt I was in the presence of an actual queen. And what about my missing lock? I asked, perking a brow. Madame Marie chuckled, reaching down to hold out her palm with she held before me, and the lock instantly paired within. Take it. I took it to ensure you would come. Be careful and make yourself a gris-gris for protection, Marie advised. I reached forth to take the lock with careful and unsure movements. As my hand passed toward her own, it seemed to fall through the ethereal mist as I grasped the lock. I pursed my lips and glanced back up at Marie. I must find Celine, Madame Marie. How can I find her? I asked, no longer concerned about what this meant, but desperate to get back to ma belle coeur as quickly as possible. I didn't care what it meant, and with Madame Marie's blessed assistance, I felt certain I could find Celine again. Ton belle coeur, how sweet. I will aid you, Antoine. You must seek out the Loa Urzuli Frida, the goddess of love. But you must be cautious, as the temptations of desire often come masked when seeking out the mysteries of the most powerful essence in all existence, love itself. With that final word uttered, the mist began to dissipate and slowly shrink back. With serpentine-like fluidity, it coiled down into the irises whence it had burrowed, and in an instant, the portrait of Marie Laveau was just as it had always been. The peculiar thing was, only mine had been turned upside down.